just joined, you wouldn't have heard us joking just now about obviously having Chandan joining us. And before I hop off this picture, we were saying that we had to find somebody with a beard who would stand in for a month. So we yeah. So thank you again, Chandan. It's really good to have you with us. And for those of you who haven't met or spoken to Chandan, just very briefly, he is assistant manager looking after professional services and works out of our Manchester office. And then for those of you who join more regularly, you will know that I look after the Africa territory, and both of our contact details obviously at the bottom on this particular slide that I'm sharing right now. So thank you again, Chandan. It's great to have you join us while Aman is doing some travel.
Thank you.
Good. So perfect. Thank you. So while we have Chandan, we're taking advantage of it. We've given him or asked him to cover two topics. It's the first one really is what I'm going to cover is a little bit on 4 hours, and I'll, as I dig into it a little bit deeper, just to explain it's something very new, and we really lack some of those features that we've shown over the last couple of weeks. We want to encourage you, give you enough to I guess know how to go and find it and play around with it, and then please to give us some feedback. And then the two that Chandan's going to cover being the custom properties within SureMDM and the causal jobs, which are directly linked. And I'm really excited for the last one. I was saying to Chandan, I haven't really ever used the causal job, so I'm going to be listening as I guess most of you who've joined us will be to that one. So yeah, so really looking forward to it. Good. All right. Well, let me touch quickly for those of you who have been playing around in our SureMDM environment. You may have seen that if you went to your account management functionality, you may have seen that the option to be able to enable 4 hours is available. This is not going to show in your console until you've specifically gone and enabled it. But 4 hours really follows the concept of maker checker that I think many of us are familiar with in different applications that we may have used. And as I said a little bit earlier, it's only something that we've released in the last few weeks. So I'm assuming many of you may not have seen it. And at this point in time, obviously, it's just the concept that we've made available. And as I said, we'd love you please to go and play around with it and give us some feedback. It's really something that we believe, and based on the feedback that we have, is going to be something that many of our partners and many of our users are really looking forward to using. So again, just to mention, you will see an entire document that covers what 4 hours and what the 4 hours framework is about. And this can be found if you search through our user guide that's available on our website. And it runs through really the enabling of it, which is what I'm going to cover now, the assigning of specific users as checkers. Keep in mind that the checker, being the person that either approves or rejects something that has been triggered within the SureMDM environment, will always be the account admin, so the person who owns technically licenses in your console, but also a person or people who have been designated by that account admin. So keep, again, just a reminder that these particular people or these particular users who are assigned the checker rights will need to be set up in addition to the account admin. And we run through, and I'm going to show you this briefly, obviously the enabling in it, where we will be able to set the checker tag or flag on the users that are either being created or already created. And then I'll show you where we would find the requests to be able to go and either approve or deny once you've worked through it. So please, as I said, have a quick look through the user guide. There's some really good information. You will notice on mine that obviously I've already enabled it in preparation for this call, but the way of enabling your 4 hours functionality or the framework in the console is to go to settings, account settings, all the way to the bottom to account management. And this is very similar to where we would have shown you where you're able to enable Sure Insights, for example. And towards the bottom, you will see that we have the ability over here to enable the 4 hours framework. Okay, it's a checkbox. Please don't forget to, once you've checked, make sure that you've saved the changes, and you will almost immediately see that the 4 hours tab appears within your environment. Okay, and so once I move into 4 hours, being the account admin on my environment, you will see I have not only my own requests, but requests that are waiting for approval from other users. Those would have been the makers in my environment, and then a historical list of either approve or deny requests I've gone through. And so just very quickly, I'm going to hop into a second user that I've created in my same console. You'll see that in this case, apologies, I'm in the wrong one. In this case, you will see I just created a bits and bolts test user, and I gave this particular user the ability to be able to create, obviously, the requests. He or she is not a checker in this environment. And while I'm talking about that, let's have a quick look under the user environment, user management, and where I created this bits and bolts test user. You will see right to the bottom, make this user a checker, and the flag obviously can be enabled if I wanted this particular user to be able to authorize or approve or deny, or is not flagged or selected if I want to be able to allow this user to only be what we term a maker in this environment. Okay, so very quickly, and again, I don't want to take up the time that we've left for Channon, but I'm going to show you, and there are at this point in time 2 functions that are being run through this 4 hours framework. The first is the wiping of a device, and the second is the deleting of a device out of the console. And we're expecting that these obviously will expand over the next couple of weeks and months as we add more and more functionality in this environment. So very briefly, I'm going to go and pick one random device in my console. I'm going to choose the option to be able to wipe it. Okay, you would remember that we have I guess a few stages in terms of the ability to be able to wipe this device. And once I've selected that, there is a pop-up that mentions this is identified obviously as being critical and is part of the 4 hours checker framework. And so I'm going to agree. My device remains in place. But if I was to go back to my original, what I would term my admin user, and I go to my 4 hours environment, you will see that within the awaiting approvals section, I have a specific request, unique. By the bits and bolts test user, I'm able to see it was a wipe of a device, a dynamic job done from that right-click menu, the device details. And at this point in time, I have the ability to either approve or deny that request. Okay. In this case, I'm going to deny just because I don't feel like deleting my my device, but I'm going to give some comments, which obviously are available to what we would term the maker. I'm going to choose the deny, and you will see that immediately it's moved to my historical, and I can see that exactly which of those users was the person who requested it, and the status as well as the comments. Okay, hopping back to my environment over here, I can see my historical requests. I can see that it was denied, and again, the comments that were made when I had tried to wipe that particular device. Very quick, very brief, but I hope you've got the concept. And again, I'd encourage you to go and enable it on your consoles, play around with it a little bit, and please, as we said earlier, give us some feedback. I think it's going to be one of those functions that is going to go rapidly within our SureMDM framework, and we'd love to have some feedback, and we'd love to make it work in a way that is most practical for you. Anything that you want to add, Chan? I know you probably used this way more than I have, so please feel free.
I think adding to Stuart's point, why did we introduce this 4 eyes as an extra layer of secure way for admins? Basically, off late from admins, if the admin changes, instead of directly deleting the device, one of the admin selected multiple devices at a time, and he did not check the prompt properly. Are you sure? Are you going to wipe all the device? That prompt we gave, and they did not check. So now the management has come back to introducing a new functionality where it adds an extra layer saying that 4 eyes. Now, until and unless the super admin approves, as Stuart mentioned here, the devices won't get wiped or deleted from the console. There's just an additional layer to be very safe and secure.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. I have seen some questions coming through as well. Some of them are comments, which I'm going to check through. But just to clarify, and I mentioned it, but I think it's important as of this moment. Both deleting of a device out of the console and wiping of the device in a console are those that are supported within the 4 hours framework. Again, we expect this to be a kind of rapidly evolved or grow in terms of the functions. And I guess probably also allow us to be able to change some of the roles within the specific user's environment. And again, I guess probably an important point to mention, your users would need to have that specific role-based function. So obviously, if a user didn't have the role that allowed them to wipe a device, please make sure that you need or that it has been enabled within that environment. So yeah, so please, some feedback. We're more than happy to take it. As I said, I have seen some of the comments coming through. I think some of those are really important and some good feedback also, and we'll take it to the product team. And again, this is a brand new, and it's really about giving us the framework and allowing us to expand and make it something that becomes really useful for our partners and our customers. Good. All right, Chandan, I'm going to stop sharing. Are you happy to share and take over on both the custom properties and the causal jobs that I know are linked, and I'm looking forward to hearing about, so that we can
Sure.
get a better understanding.
Thank you, Stuart. And yeah, I'm sure in the previous bits and bolt, Arman or Stuart would have covered on a high level part of the custom properties. And some of you who has already joined, I know I've been working with you guys for custom property or to match with your use case. Before getting on into, there are 3 questions which I always address. The person who know me well, they know. So what is custom property? And why should be used and how it can be configured. So the main question, the custom property, let's consider a use case where it is a retail sector and each device has different store ID or a different username. Now, these username or store ID might not be static. Let's say if this device goes to some other warehouse or store ID and some other user has logged in. Now it has to be dynamic, right? So using our custom properties, we will be able to read the values from your SD card. Now the file can be, let it be init file, or the file can be your XML file or your text file or anything. For now, I have taken one of the XML file. This can be on any format. For example, if this device goes to some other store or warehouse, now dynamically I need to read the value of the warehouse or the username. Here the username is Tom. Now this file will be auto-generated from your third-party application, or you can use SureMDM file transfer to push this particular file. Now, this format can be anything, and extension of file also can be INI or XML or your text file, or this can be anything. Now, how do I enable custom property for the user? For example, if I go to account settings and device properties, here we can go to custom properties. I have created a user as a custom property value reader, and this particular value is what I'm trying to call, and how to define and everything we have defined here in the blog. Step by step, each step is mentioned, and there is a sample XML also provided inside the casual inside the custom property job itself. This is just a sample script. If required, post this call, I'll be sharing this template as well. What I'm trying to do here in the script is I'm trying to read the file from the device SD card, and I'm trying to add a return, like if the file is not found, what should happen, and if the file is present, and it has to read the value and then share it across. This frequency I can predefine, like every 5 minutes, or there is a configuration time limit as well. Like I can configure 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 50 minutes based on that. And if it has to be dynamic, then we have a script to do it as well. For now, I'm configuring this username as to read the file XML file from the SD card, and update our custom property value. Here, make sure the grid you have enabled by going to custom property, and you just need to enable user, which we have currently configured. Now, the two important prerequisites, we have added a custom property on how it should read. And second thing is we have to push the particular file as a file transfer, or it can be pushed via any of the third-party application or API as well. For this demonstration, I have tried to get a sample file which I have just transferred it. And when I was configuring custom property value, you might have observed every 30 minutes it has to auto read the value from the device. If not, we have a script where we can make use of this particular script. For example, this script is predefined template as well. There's the script which I'm currently use, which is sync property. You can directly use the template and search for sync. Can you see here? There's the sync property which is already present. I'm not saving it because it's already saved. And now I'll try to select a device and then apply this particular script to auto read the value from the device. Currently, the user is Alex, which here we have changed it to Tom, or we can change it to Stuart next time when we are changing it as well. So now the user has been changed and we have pushed the property value, and within the next refresh, it has to be changed. Oh, okay. Can you see here? The username has already been changed to the Tom. This is a cycle now. Every 30 minutes, it will try to refresh on its own, or you can push a script to read the value from the device SD card. This value can be present in your documents folder, downloads folder, anything, and this should read the value automatically. And that's how we will be able to update the custom property column automatically. And again, as I said, in the same script or anything, we can read the warehouse number, or you can see the model number. Some of our customers try to see when was the last logged in by the user, last logged out. These minute details will really help for admins to make sure it is auto updated, which is dynamic. And now, what is the importance of having Causal job? There's an integration of custom property. If the filter, let's say if I create a filter saying that if the user is Tom, store ID is 001, then we have to predefine in the default job saying that the shore lock setting should change, or application should be updated, or let's say you do the file transfer and so on, which is one level of manual process for the admin, because you have to keep on filtering it and then see how it goes. Now, advantage of pushing a Causal job for the devices, it is dynamic. Now, there's a blog which says the step-by-step how we can configure. In this Causal job, you can go to new job, select platform as Android, Causal job. Here you can name it as a we can predefine if a custom property value changes. For example, in my example, I showed the username change from Alex to Tom. Now, as soon as the property changes, it auto reads, and then this particular sequence, you can add a profile if required, and you can add a shore lock settings, and you can add even like a file transfer if required, and you can even add a scripts, like any scripts you can add, or you can add a system security. The multiple jobs you can control A and then select everything if required, or we'll be able to select both. And you do have an option to move this in a sequence. For example, now if the property value changes, The first job would be the text message, then goes the profile, then goes the security message, and then goes the text message. And we can go on adding like a Sherlock setting should change, application update should change, and what should happen. Now I'm trying to save this as a job. And then you just need to apply to a group of device or select a particular device and then apply to this particular device only once. As soon as we apply this particular Causal job once, it will auto dynamically get assigned to the device as soon as custom property value changes. Now I have applied it once. In this use case, let's take an example. If I try to move this particular device to some other group, let's take an example. If I move this to this particular group, and if the username changes or if the user store number changes, what should happen? And I can already see the Causal job got applied. See, now I did not reapply anything. I just reapplied, moved the device to a particular group, and then as soon as this job initiated, I had few predefined policies in here, which is this one. I had predefined. We have to get a text message. We have to see the launch settings, which is the settings got launched, and after that security policy, and then the text message. So this got a launch as soon as the device moved to the particular group. This one of the easiest method to refresh or dynamically push the device. Or now if I change the username to, let's say, again a different user or Alec, let's say, or Alex. So now the username is Tom. I have pushed a different XML file, and I will try to push a script to auto sync. Once this auto sync is done, this particular user will change, and then automatically this Causal job will get activated.
Maybe while that's running, Chairman, just a question. XML on the device needs to be updated by a third-party application. Is that right?
It can be updated by a third-party application, or we can do the file transfer as well. From, for example, I have a file here. I will just show. So I'm just doing the file transfer for now to, there's the file transfer file I'm trying to use, read.xml, which you can download, and there's the same file.
Got it.
And advantage of one more thing, let's say, it need not be generated from 42 gears itself. Even if it can be generated from third party, using this custom property, I can send a wildcard entries. Like if I go to message, let's say test. Now I'll just use the wildcard entries, let's say user. This particular wildcard entry can be any of the SureMDM fields, like in the profile field or in the application URL field. Even inside Sherlock, you can use as a title bar, and even inside Sherlock web URL when you're using, we can use this. Now, let's say user. Let me just keep it simple. I'll just send this to the device. As soon as the device is there, can you see? I did not explicitly mention the value. Now, the same value can be, let it be Alex, Stuart, Chandan, or anything. This will display using the wildcard entry. I can make use of this wildcard entry even in the web URLs. For example, if I'm creating a application policy, and then if I go inside a field of web URLs, let me go to App Store, add new, web app, let's say the web link would be, now I can use this particular value here. This can be your serial number, store number, anything. This will auto identify the current value of the device property, and then it will change according to that. And now with the combination of a causal job, as soon as the property value changes, you will have all the preceding jobs sequentially aligned. Whatever we configure, like it might be a profile or it might be a run script or so on. So the importance of this is, let's take an example. If my device goes to a warehouse, the store number, user number change, and admin do not need to manually change anything. It will automatically, dynamically change the Sherlock settings or application update if the username or store ID changes. There's the importance of having both combination of the values. And one more important thing, if let's say custom property value of store ID does not dynamically change, in that case, you can just select a particular device, right click, go to properties, device properties. In this user, I can predefine the value of what it can be. I'll try to show one of the example. If I go to, let's take an example, device properties, I'll create a user, or let's say warehouse. ID. So this is just a custom property value. Now I will try to add this particular to the grid. There is no value. In this group, whichever device it gets enrolled, I can predefine all the device where ID is static, which is, let's say, 42. You can see here, success is 0. Using this combination, we'll be able to get to know on how many devices it successfully got applied. Now, as soon as the device moved to this particular group, this particular value of where ID will auto change. That is the beauty of this. So if it is static, I would try to use a group level directly. If the value changes dynamically, you can make use of our scripting to read the value from the XML or let's say the .ini file, and then this value will automatically change. I'll try to push the sync property to read the current value, and this value will get changed. I think more or less we have covered combination of values and how to use the custom property values. And one additional important thing is, like, if you want to see the value directly from the device level, we have introduced the custom property on the right hand side device level as well. Here you can see the username, store name, anything. And again, even in the managed config or any field, you can use this wildcard entry to read the value directly. So, like, excellent. Yeah, I think play around and let me know what works, and if any feedback, feel free to share it across.
For sure. Thank you. Yeah, I've learned a whole lot. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It looked like just the one question for you, Shannon. So well done. You clearly made it a whole lot easier than the one that I explained a little bit before. So thank you. Thank you. Good. Okay, perfect. There was one thing. I'm going to take screen sharing again. One of the questions that came up asked just that I cover. Well, there were some comments about the fact that the device ID itself was not displayed, and obviously at this point in time, I'm not showing it in the awaiting approval. I'm going to show this to you in the historical view, but it is the same look and feel. And what I wanted to mention over here, this hyperlink, I guess we could call it, mentions obviously the number of devices. But if I extract this, or if I click on it, I'm given the full device name as well as the home path and obviously the unique device ID. In this case, I'm sure nobody will be able to remember that, but the information specifically related to the device and the path or the group that the device is sitting within at that point in time that the request was made is there and is available. To be completely honest, I don't know why it's not showing in this initial view, and it's one of the things that I'll give some feedback about, but it is there obviously at a single click to be able to go and grab that extra information. That I'm assuming there is a reason we've done it like this, but yeah, I'm not able to explain why that is at this point in time. So I hope that covers the one question that we still had outstanding from the 4 hours section. Perfect. Thank you, guys. I think without any other questions, Gabby, have I missed any other questions? I
think we are. Oh, let me just check.
Yeah, no, I see. Okay, perfect. Comment. Yep. Yeah. I mean, again, just to sort of repeat what I was saying just now, I agree with the comments that I've seen that it'd be great to have what we would term sort of the device name or the friendly name available in that list. And while I'm sure there is a reason it's not, we will absolutely take it up with the team and find out a little bit more as to why it is. But it's part of the reason why we wanted to share this with you today. In order to be able to expose you to what is there, and please feel free to share absolutely anything with either your account manager or with myself, with Chandan, with Aman. If you have our details, we'd be glad to take those through and continue to build it into an environment that I think is going to be very helpful for the majority of our customers. So very briefly before we wrap up, I know we are a little bit over time. The questions, obviously the ability to get hold of our partner marketing team, Gabby and Chris and the rest. Please feel free to make use of partnermarketing@42gears.com if you don't already have their direct contact details. And then our tech support team, as we always repeat, but it's something really important, available through tech support@42gears.com, as well as many other things, including the intercom button on your consoles or your hub. Please use whatever makes the most sense and reach out to the team. They're obviously available to you 24 hours a day, and they do an excellent job in the background of looking after our customers and our partners. Good. Thank you. That's it for today. Thank you so much.